If you walk out those doors to go to some stupid party, don't bother coming back on Monday. You are fired. That is what my manager, let's call him Marcus, shouted across the open plan office. He was red in the face, veins popping out his neck. I froze. I had my hand on the door handle. I looked back at him. I looked at my co-workers, who were all staring at their shoes, terrified. Then I looked at my phone. I had a text from my sister, Sarah. It said, "Please tell me you're coming. David is so nervous to meet you properly." I looked back at Marcus. "It's not a party, Marcus. It's my sister's wedding, and I requested this leave 6 months ago." "I canceled it," he screamed. "We have a deadline. Family can wait. The company comes first." I smiled, a cold, calm smile. "You're right, Marcus. The company does come first. I hope you remember that on Monday." I walked out. Marcus thought he had just fired a disobedient employee. He had no idea that the man waiting at the altar to marry my sister was the owner of the parent company that had just bought our firm last week. To give you some context, I used to work as a senior analyst at a mid-sized logistics firm. It was a decent job until Marcus took over. Marcus was the kind of boss who tracked your bathroom breaks. He believed that if you weren't suffering, you weren't working. My sister, Sarah, is the complete opposite. She's kind, bubbly, and works for a charity organization. About a year ago, she met David at a fundraiser. They fell in love fast. I knew David was wealthy. I knew he was a businessman. But Sarah and I have a rule. We don't talk shop at family dinners. I knew he ran a massive investment group, Vertex Holdings, but I never connected the dots. Last month, news broke that our small logistics firm was being acquired by a mystery conglomerate. We were all worried about layoffs. Marcus, my boss, was especially paranoid. He wanted to prove his department was essential, so he started piling on useless work. 6 months ago, I had booked 3 days off for Sarah's wedding. It was approved. It was in the system. But 3 days before the wedding, Marcus called me into his office. "I'm revoking your leave," Marcus said, not even looking up from his phone. "Excuse me?" I asked, think it was a joke. "The acquisition is finalized next week. The new owners might send auditors. I need all hands on deck. No leave. No exceptions." I try to be reasonable. "Marcus, I'm the brother of the bride. I'm giving the toast. I bought a non-refundable plane ticket. The audit isn't for 2 weeks. He slammed his hand on the desk. "I don't care if you're the Pope. If you are not in this chair on Friday, you are terminated for job abandonment." I tried to go over his head to HR, but Marcus had blocked it. He had marked me as critical personnel in the system, meaning leave was impossible without his direct approval. I had a choice: keep my job under a tyrant, or be there for the most important day of my sister's life. It wasn't a hard choice. I walked out that Friday like I told you. The wedding was beautiful. It was at a vineyard. David, the groom, looked happier than I'd ever seen him. During the reception dinner, David came over to our table. He shook my hand. "Oh, Sarah told me you almost didn't make it. Work trouble?" I laughed nervously. "Yeah, you could say that. My boss actually fired me for coming here." David stopped smiling. He put down his champagne glass. "He what?" "Yeah," I said, pouring more wine. "He canceled my leave last minute because of the new acquisition. Said if I left, I was fired. So, I guess I'm unemployed." David looked confused. "Wait, you work at Logitech Solutions, right?" "Yeah." David looked at Sarah, then back at me. A strange look crossed his face. "Oh, my company, Vertex Holdings. We are the ones who acquired Logitech last week." My jaw dropped. David pulled out his phone. "What is your boss's name?" "Marcus." Marcus Renfield. David typed something into his phone. Enjoy the wedding, Opie. Don't worry about Monday. In fact, I want you to come in on Monday. I'll be visiting the new office personally. Monday morning, I showed up at 9 a.m. Marcus saw me walking to my desk and marched over, smirking. I told you, Opie, you're done. Security is on their way to escort you out. You made your choice. I did, I said, sitting down, but I think you should wait for the new owner. He's just pulling into the parking lot. Marcus turned pale. The new owner is here? Suddenly, the double doors opened. In walked David, flanked by two assistants. He wasn't wearing his wedding tux anymore. He was in a sharp Italian suit. Marcus immediately ran over, sweating, trying to shake his hand. Mr. CO, welcome. I'm Marcus, the department head. We are all working very hard, as you can see. David ignored Marcus's hand. He walked straight over to my desk. Morning, Opie, David said loud enough for the whole room to hear. Great toast at the wedding on Saturday. Sarah is still laughing about that childhood story. The entire office went dead silent. Marcus looked like he was about to faint. He looked from me to David and back to me. You were at the wedding? Marcus stammered. David turned to Marcus slowly. Yes, it was my wedding. Opie is my brother-in-law, and he tells me you fired him for attending it? 7 to 8:30. The aftermath visual. Boss packing box / happy employee. Marcus tried to speak, but only squeaks came out. I didn't know. I was just prioritizing the company. You prioritize your ego over family, David said coldly. Vertex Holdings values loyalty, Marcus, but we also value human decency. If you fire a man for attending his sister's wedding, I wonder how you treat the rest of the staff. David turned to his assistant. Effective immediately, Marcus is relieved of his duties. Please escort him out. You can't do this. Marcus cried. I can, David said. It's my building. Oh, and Opie. Yes, David. You're not fired. In fact, since the department head position just opened up. Do you want it? I looked at Marcus, who was being led away by the same security guard he had called for me. I'd love to, I said. Marcus was escorted out with a box of his things, crying in the parking lot. I took over his office the same afternoon. First thing I did, I approved everyone's pending leave requests. Family comes first. Marcus learned that the hard way.